revealing to you. And how to do that? There are a wide variety of different ways in which you can do that, which we'll one by one discuss today. And if you're not able to finish all those topics today, we will continue this topic or this lecture into the next lecture as well. So the first type of attack that I wanted to talk about is something known as man in the browser attack. Man in the browser attack. See, there used to be a time where Internet Explorer was the only browser available and pretty much everybody used to use that. But nowadays very few people are still using Internet Explorer. Most of us are using Google Chrome or Mozilla Firefox or some other browser like Safari if you're using an Apple computer. Now most of these browsers like Google Chrome and Mozilla Firefox, they are something called browser extensions or browser add-ons, which are essentially browser applications that you can install within your browser. And once they're installed in your browser, these browser apps will actually scan or monitor or track your online activity. And whenever certain events take place, they'll get triggered and they'll try to improve your online experience. So browser extensions are basically programs or apps or applications or tools that run within your browser, and they improve the functionality of the web pages that you visit. In Google Chrome they are called browser extensions, and in Mozilla Firefox they are called browser add-ons. So there are thousands of such browser extensions available. So let me just quickly show them to you. So I've opened up, say, Google Chrome. Trying to open a new tab. Okay, so let's type Google browser extensions. So I'm just gonna do a Google search on it and kind of go to the store. It's called the Chrome Web Store. The Chrome Web Store basically has hundreds or thousands of browser apps or browser extensions or browser tools that you can download and install within your browser, and each tool will kind of enhance or improve your browsing experience. So let me click on, say, popular in India. So you have the Times of India app. Just the way you can download and install apps within your mobile phone from, say, the Android store or the iTunes store, similarly you can download and install these apps within your browser, like Savan or Indian radio stations, Times of India cricket games, taxi rides game, Wi-Fi transfer, and things like that, right? English vocabulary, Star Cricket live TV, live stream, and so on. So each app essentially will allow you to improve your browsing experience online. So in the man in the browser attack, what happens is, imagine that I am a criminal. I want to steal your Gmail password. So what I'll do is I'll create some browser app which kind of promises you something like, find out somebody else's password using it, or get some free access to some free videos or whatever. Now imagine that you get tempted into installing this app in your browser. The moment you install it in your browser, I will actually be monitoring whatever you're entering in your websites or in your browser. So next time you're trying to log into, say, Gmail or Hotmail or Yahoo or Facebook or your bank account, I could try to manipulate what gets displayed in your screen or manipulate what your interaction with that website is. So that is what man in the browser attack is all about. You gotta create your own browser extension, a browser app, upload it to the browser store, invite the victim to download it or install it. If the victim gets fooled and falls for the trick and actually installs the browser app or extension, then they get infected. So in the backend, browser extensions are nothing but web pages which use JavaScript, CSS, and various images. Moreover, they can even access all the open tabs in your browser. They can access your browser history. They can control or modify the open web pages in your browser, They can change the way certain web pages look. They can add something to a web page. They can remove something from a web page. They can interact with apps and files on your computer and so on. So browser apps have a lot of control over what gets displayed or what happens in your browser. So if you are able to create a malicious browser app, fool the victim into installing it and using it, you could actually misuse the power that that browser app has to do certain things that you should not be normally allowed to do. That is what man in the browser attack is all about. So man in the browser attack, within that there's something called transaction hijacking. Man in the browser attack is a type of attack where a malicious Trojan infects a victim's browser and secretly modifies transaction values without the knowledge of the victim. So say for example, if you're on the Gmail login page, you're typing the username password, and normally the username password should go back to Gmail. But what if the browser app that is running in your browser can modify the destination where the username password goes? So instead of the username password going to Gmail, the username password gets sent to the criminal. That is what a transaction hijacking man in the browser attack is all about. So step number 1, the victim's computer is infected with a Trojan which is disguised or hidden inside a browser app. The Trojan will secretly install a browser extension or browser add-on on the victim's browser. Browser extensions normally use web programming code and scripts to automatically modify web pages in the background before they load and while users are interacting with them, and improve the browsing experience for users. However, malicious browser extensions can negatively impact the browser experience of the user. Usually, browser extensions only get activated when the user visits particular specific websites and can be programmed to react to specific actions of the user. For example, a browser extension can be created that it will only be activated when the user visits facebook.com. It will be running secretly in the background of your browser. The moment the user types in their username and password and clicks on the submit button, the browser extension will email a copy of the password to the attacker and then will continue the normal authentication process for the victim. As simple as that. Or you could redirect the destination URL where the username password of facebook.com or gmail.com gets submitted. Step 4, for example, the browser extension will only get activated when the victim logs into his bank account to do a wire transfer, say abcbank.com, and will automatically modify the destination account number after the victim clicks on the transfer button. If the victim is using a credit card online, then the amount charged on the card can be changed as well after the victim has clicked on the purchase button. This modified information can be sent to the bank server, but the bank server will generate a receipt or a confirmation with the modified details and send back to the victim. The malicious browser extension running on the victim's browser will once again modify the confirmation of the receipt so that it displays the original values entered by the user and not the malicious values or the edited values. Hence, the victim will have no clue what just happened. So that's a classic example of a man in the browser attack. Websites have started performing out-of-band transaction verification through text messages or phone calls. So that's the only solution that is available to prevent man in the browser attacks from taking place. So how do you actually develop your own browser apps or browser tools or browser add-ons? So if you go to Mozilla's Developer Hub website, so just search for Mozilla Firefox Developer Hub. This is a website that you'll get. It actually has a lot of tutorials that teach you how to build your own Firefox add-on from scratch. Similarly, Google Chrome extensions Developer Hub is also there. It's a website where there are tutorials. If you notice on the right, it says follow the getting started tutorial, read the overview, Chromium blog, and so on. So there are a lot of resources available if you are interested in creating your own browser app. So using these websites, you learn how to create your own browser app, and then you can write or develop your own browser Trojan and then send it to the victim, infect the victim's browser with the browser Trojan, and then just sit back and have fun on the victim's computer. Another way in which you can gain control over the victim's account is something known as phishing attacks. So what exactly are phishing attacks and what makes them so dangerous? See, a very simple example of a phishing attack is, I will send a spoofed email to you from customerservice@icsibank.com, and you receive the email, and when you open it, the ICICI Bank logo will be displayed. The font that will be there will be exactly the same as ICICI Bank's font. So the look and feel, everything is like icicibank.com. And the email will say something like the following: we are checking if your account is valid or not. Please fill up the below form, otherwise your account will be disabled or deactivated. Now, a lot of people, when they receive such an email, they actually fall for the trick. They might actually get scared that there is a risk that their account may get disabled or deactivated. So they quickly fill up the form and send it back to the bank. But what they don't realize is that when they click on the submit button in that email, the form or the data or the confidential information is not going to the bank. It's actually coming back to the criminal. So that is what phishing attack is all about. In a phishing attack, I will send you an email, or I will show you a login screen that looks exactly like a real email or looks exactly like a real login screen. So you will think that when you type the username password in that email or login screen, you will think that the username password is going to the real website, like Hotmail, Yahoo, Gmail, ICICI Bank, Citibank, and so on. But in reality, when you fill up that information, fill up that form and click on submit, the information does not go to the real website but actually comes to the criminal. So that is what phishing attacks are all about. And typically in a phishing attack, the criminal will send the same phishing page or the same fake login screen to hundreds of people, hoping that at least one or two of them might fall for that trick. So what is phishing? Phishing is a technique using which a criminal will try to steal your confidential information by pretending to be some trusted person, trusted company, or trusted organization. For example, you may receive an email that seems to have been sent by a bank asking for your bank account details, but in reality the email would have been sent by a criminal. Or you may receive an email that seems to have been sent by Gmail or Hotmail and says that they are doing some account maintenance or system upgrade, and they require you to click on the link to log in order for you to continue using your email account. So a lot of people, either they don't read it properly, or they don't think enough, or they're just scared of losing access to their account or whatever. They might click on that link, even though the email will look very real, but in reality it's not real. It's a phishing email. So phishing attacks have become even more dangerous and sophisticated these days than they were before, because they are looking more and more like legitimate, trusted, real emails or real pages. For example, they'll use the real logo, the same font as the trusted source, and so on. So how do the phishing messages or the phishing emails come to you normally? It could be in the form of an email message, or you may receive a link via email or through chat or through some web page or through a private message in Facebook or whatever. And when you click on that link, it will take you to a fake login screen maybe, or it could sometimes even come through SMS or text message. So you may get an SMS or text message that seems as if your bank or your relative or friend is trying to get in touch with you, but actually in reality SMS spoofing may have been used, or in the earlier example email spoofing may have been used, and so on. So if all of you look at the screen, now that you know the definition of a phishing attack, let's look at an actual example. So if all of you look at the screen, what screen has been displayed on your screen? It's actually the HSBC Bank login screen, right? It looks exactly like that. The logo is the same, the font is the same, the look and feel is the same, Everything is the same. So if you were to enter your username over here and click on the continue button, you would think that the username will go to hsbc.com. But in reality, if you look at the URL at the top left corner, what is the URL? Is it hsbc.com? Not at all. It is not at all hsbc.com. It is actually some phishing website which is trying to steal your HSBC username and password. So that is what typically a phishing attack or a fake login screen looks like. The screen will look exactly like the real screen, and it'll try to fool you into believing that you're on the real screen or the real website, but in reality, you're on some fake website. Another example of a phishing attack is via email. So you might get an email like this. It says your email account was accessed from another computer, and the email has been sent to you from update@hotmail.com. So if you have a Hotmail account and if you receive such an email, you'll probably be worried because you'll think that, oh yeah, my account got hacked, I better check what happened. So it says, dear customer, your email account was recently logged into from another computer, mobile device or other location on the IP 222.58.225.153. For your protection, please take a second to update your records by following the reference below. And there's a link, and when you click on the link, you think that you'll be taken to a Hotmail link because number one, the email was sent from update@hotmail.com. So the email looks real, and it is about your account, so you're scared because it says that your account was accessed by somebody else. And when you click on the link, you expect to be taken to the Hotmail website, but in reality, it is not the Hotmail website at all, it is some other website. So that's another great example of how criminals will execute a phishing attack. Another very common scam that is doing the rounds is the Maruti Suzuki scam or Maruti Suzuki phishing attack. It's more of a scam than a phishing attack. Essentially, you will get an email saying that looking for job offer, and in the email it seems like Maruti Suzuki HR department has written an email to you from the head office saying that you have been selected for a new job as senior engineer, IT administrator or whatever, and you need to report for your first day at the office at so and so time at this date, and to continue the process of applying, you have to bring a photocopy of your qualification documents, photocopy of your address proof and so on that, and you have to bring a check of, or you have to submit a check of 62,000 rupees or whatever it might be. So this is like an offer letter from Maruti Suzuki confirming your job, but actually it's a scam because it will ask you to transfer or make some payment of as registration fee or orientation fee, and they'll say it is refundable afterwards, after 2 years it's refundable or something, but actually this is not an email from Maruti at all, and this is trying to scam or fish your money away from you. So you got to be very careful about any such emails that you receive. Sometimes you get an email from a customer or somebody who's pretending to be a customer. It says confirm your delivery appointment from somebody called Luigi Santes from Italy, and he's some delivery agent or something, but actually it's all a scam. So we understand what phishing attacks are all about. Let me now show you a live demonstration of a phishing page. But before that, let us learn how can you create a fake login page. How can you create a phishing page for yourself so that you can then send a link of that phishing page to your friends and you can steal their usernames and passwords to any kind of online account. So what is a fake login screen? A fake login screen is a login screen that looks like a real login screen, but actually it is not. It's just a phishing attack that will steal your victim's username and password and will send them to the criminal. So how can you create a phishing page for, say, facebook.com? So since Facebook is so popular and since many of you have emailed me asking me how to crack somebody else's Facebook account. Now I'm going to show you the exact steps that you need to follow to create a fake login screen of Facebook, to create your own phishing page, send it to the victim, and steal their usernames and passwords. So step number 1 is you got to go to facebook.com. So open your browser, go to facebook.com, and make sure you're logged out from your Facebook account. And you right click anywhere on the screen and click on View Page Source. View Page Source. So I repeat, open your browser, go to facebook.com, make sure you're logged out. Why do you need to make sure that you're logged out? Because you want to create a fake login screen. So for that you need to first open the login screen. And if you're logged into your account, then there will be no login screen getting displayed. So even if you're already logged into your account, just log out so that you can see the login screen. And once you see the login screen, right click anywhere on the login screen and select View Page Source. View Page Source. Once you open the page source, you press Ctrl A, which is select all. Ctrl A is select all, and then Ctrl C, that is copy, and then you paste that code into the notepad file. So step 1 is open facebook.com, log out from facebook.com so that the login screen of Facebook has been displayed. Once you see the login screen of Facebook, you right click on it, click on View Page Source. So that will open up the source code of facebook.com, that is the login screen of Facebook. You press Ctrl A, that is select all, then Ctrl C, that is copy, and then you open a blank notepad file and you paste the source code into the notepad file. Once you've done that, the next step is very simple. You press Ctrl F, that is find. Ctrl F, that is find, and you search for the keyword action equal to. Action equal to. So now it will basically search the entire source code for that text action equal to. And once you have found the action equal to, let me show you the screenshot of that. Once you have found the text action equal to, just highlight that line. So if you notice, I've highlighted the line and there is the keyword on the second line, it says action equal to. So that is what we had searched for. And once you find that line, just highlight it and you have to make 2 simple changes. The first change is at the end of the second line. It says method equal to post. So instead of post, you change it to get. So if you look at the second screenshot, first screenshot, end of second line is method is equal to post. Second screenshot, end of second line is method is equal to get. So that's the first change that you have to make. The second change that you have to make is that if you look at the second line, first word, it says action equal to, followed by some link. And that link is some facebook.com/login.php link. So essentially, normally when you type your username and password and click on login, the username password will go here, which is facebook.com/login.php !login_attempt=1. But you don't want the username password to go to Facebook. You want the username password to come to you. So instead of action equal to followed by some Facebook URL, you remove the entire URL and you simply type record.php.